The world is changing, and it's changing fast. So the big question is, how do we get our kids ready to not just survive, but to actually thrive in it? Today, we're going to dive into a platform called CODMOS that has a really interesting answer. Turn our kids into the changemakers of tomorrow. Okay, so first things first, let's just talk about the sheer scale here. This isn't some small experimental thing. We're talking about a platform that's already trusted by over 2.5 million learners all over the world. That is a huge community of kids building skills for the future right now. And that massive number really gets to the heart of the question that, let's be honest, is on every parent's mind. In a future that's going to be packed with AI and automation, what skills really matter? How do we help our kids make that leap from just being consumers of technology to becoming the creators? So let's get into the good stuff. What does a child actually do and learn when they log into CODMOS? Let's break down what's in the curriculum. The first thing that really jumps out at you is just how much ground they cover. This goes way beyond just learn to code. I mean, yeah, it has everything from the absolute basics of programming all the way up to AI. But look at the other stuff. Computational thinking, which is just a fancy way of saying problem solving, digital literacy, and straight-up creativity. It's the whole package for being ready for what's next. And here's the really smart part. It's not a one-size-fits-all program. The whole learning path is carefully built around grade levels. For the little ones, it starts with play and basic thinking. Then, as they get older, the concepts literally grow with them. It's always challenging enough to be interesting, but never so hard that it's overwhelming. But okay, let's be real for a second. How do you teach kids something as complex as programming without it feeling like homework? The answer, it turns out, is to stop making it feel like work and start making it feel like an adventure. CODMOS wraps the entire learning experience inside these immersive storytelling missions. So to a kid, it just feels like they're playing a game. They're not just doing coding exercises, they're going on a quest and solving problems to see what happens next in the story. And the ultimate goal? For them to take what they've learned and actually design their very own games. So what does this look like in practice? Well, when you boil it all down, programming is built on just a few core ideas. The first one is what's called a sequential structure. It's the absolute foundation. It just means you give the computer commands and it follows them in that exact order. Do this, then do this, then do that. Simple. But what if you need to do the same thing over and over again? That's where looping comes into play. Instead of writing the same command, say, 10 times, you just tell the computer to repeat it 10 times. This is really the first time kids get a taste of how to write code that's not just functional, but smart and efficient. And finally, you give the program a brain. That's the conditional structure. This is how programs make decisions. It's all about if this, then that. If a condition is true, do one thing. If it's not true, do something else. This is what makes any game or app feel like it's actually responding to you. Now here's the really important part. Learning these coding blocks, it's not actually about the code itself. It's about what learning the code teaches you. It's basically a secret training ground for a much, much deeper skill, critical thinking and problem solving. Think about it. Every single mission in CODMOS forces kids to go through this 4-step process. First, understand the goal. Second, break that big goal down into tiny, manageable pieces. Third, code the solution for each of those little pieces. And fourth, and this is maybe the most important, you test your code and fix what's broken. That's a life skill right there, all taught through a game. And this is where it gets to the next level. The platform doesn't just want an answer, it pushes kids to find the best answer. So sure, using 3 move-forward blocks will get the job done, it works. But using 1 loop block to do the same thing? That's smarter, that's cleaner, and that simple choice teaches kids to constantly look for a better, more efficient way to solve a problem. All right, so as a parent, you're probably thinking, this all sounds amazing, but how do I know if my kid is actually learning anything? Great question. Let's look at how they track progress. Well, educators get access to this awesome student weekly study report, which they can share right with you. And it breaks down all the key details, how many missions they've completed, how much time they're spending, the amount of code they've actually written, and my favorite part, the specific concepts they've mastered that week. It's a crystal clear look at what they're accomplishing. And progress is always, always celebrated. After a student completes all the missions on one of the virtual planets, they earn a personalized certificate. It's that tangible reward, that sense of accomplishment that builds their confidence and gets them excited to tackle the next big challenge. So when you put this all together, what really makes CODMOS stand out in a pretty crowded field? Let's kind of zoom out and hit the main advantages.
Let's start with the results, because this number is just wow. A 95% combined satisfaction score from both educators and students. I mean, a number that high pretty much speaks for itself. The people who are actually using it day in and day out overwhelmingly say it's effective and, just as important, that it's enjoyable.
So here's the rapid fire summary. It's field proven with millions of students and thousands of schools. It's accessible, meaning you don't need a PhD in computer science to teach it. The content is super engaging because it's built like a game. And this one's huge. It's globally aligned with the highest standards in education, so you know the learning is world class. And really, it all comes back to this one powerful idea. The goal isn't just about teaching a child to code, it's about empowering them with a new way of thinking, with new skills, and with the confidence to become a creator, a problem solver, a true change maker of tomorrow.
So the final question really isn't about the platform, it's for you. In a world that's changing faster than we can even keep up with, is your child getting the tools they need to not just adapt to the future, but to actually help build it? Are they ready to become a change maker?